Good morning and welcome to Tuesday of Holy Week. Gemma's going to give us the reading for our thought for the day.
So today's reading is Luke 22 verses 33 to 53. Peter said, "Lord, I am ready to go to prison with you and even to die with you." But Jesus said, "Peter, let me tell you something. Before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will deny 3 times that you even know me." Then Jesus asked them, "When I sent you up to preach the good news and you did not have money, a traveller's bag, or an extra pair of sandals, did you need anything?" "No," they replied. "But now," he said, "take your money and a traveller's bag, and if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. For the time has come for this prophecy about me to be fulfilled." He was counted among the rebels. "Yes, everything written about me by the prophets will come true." "Look, Lord," they replied, "we have 2 swords among us." "That's enough," he said. Then, accompanied by the disciples, Jesus left the upstairs room and went as usual to the Mount of Olives. There he told them, "Pray that you will not give in to temptation." He walked away about a stone's throw and knelt down and prayed. "Father, if you are willing, please take this cup of suffering away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine." Then an angel from heaven appeared and strengthened him. He prayed more fervently and was in such agony of spirit that his sweat fell to the ground like drops of blood. At last he stood up again and returned to the disciples, only to find them asleep, exhausted from grief. "Why are you sleeping?" he asked them. "Get up and pray so that you will not give in to temptation." But even as Jesus said this, a crowd approached, led by Judas, one of the 12 disciples. Judas walked over to Jesus to greet him with a kiss. But Jesus said, "Judas, would you betray the Son of Man with a kiss?" Then the other disciples saw what was about to happen. They exclaimed, "Lord, should we fight? We brought the swords." And one of them struck at the high priest's slave, slashing off his right ear. But Jesus said, "No more of this." And he touched the man's ear and healed him. Then Jesus spoke to the leading priests, the captains of the temple guard, and the elders who had come for him. "Am I some dangerous revolutionary," he asked, "that you come with swords and clubs to arrest me? Why didn't you arrest me in the temple? I was there every day. But this is your moment, the time when power of darkness reigns."
So it's quite a long reading today and there's so much in it, so we're just going to take a slither of it and talk about preparation and trials. So Jesus spent much of his ministry warning the disciples and preparing them for his death and what life was going to be like after he had gone. He also takes time to prepare himself, especially on the Mount of Olives, as we read in this passage. And even though Jesus knows the brutality of what faces him and doesn't want to do it, he still takes time to prepare himself by praying and just building a relationship with God.
The disciples, on the other hand, they are asleep while Jesus was in utter emotional agony. The disciples think they're prepared for what's about to come, and they seem pretty chilled in comparison to Jesus. But even Peter says in verse 33, which is just at the start of today's reading, that he is even ready to go to prison with Jesus and to die with him. But we find out just after today's reading that Peter ends up denying Jesus 3 times. So he clearly wasn't as ready as he thought he was. And the disciples' faith was shaken despite Jesus repeatedly telling them what was about to happen.
Life will always throw trials and tests our way, whether individually, internationally, or somewhere in between. And while Jesus faced many trials, the cross being an immense one, he made sure to remain close to God, always rooted in prayer. So the challenge for us is, are you prepared for what life will throw at you? How can you root yourself in prayer? And is your faith like that of Jesus or Peter? Will your faith be shaken, or will you trust wholly in God? So that's our little thought for the day. Have a great Tuesday. Have a great
Enjoy.
Tuesday.
Bye.
See ya.